Hey, what's going on, everyone? Welcome back to another episode of Star Wars Coffee. In today's episode, we're going to be doing a big roundup of all of the characters you can expect to see in The Mandalorian Season 2. That's today here on Star Wars Coffee. Greetings, Exalted Ones. Greetings to all you Jedi, Padawans, and younglings out there. This is Star Wars Coffee, covering everything you need to know about the latest developments, news, and leaks in Star Wars, and as always, giving you my analysis. The Mandalorian Season 2 is shaping up to be a pretty big event when you count all of the characters we can expect to see. Now we're going to go through a pretty substantial list of all of the characters you can expect to see in Season 2. What I want to do before we go into it is tell you which ones are very likely and which ones are not. So as of late, before we go into the diving the depths of each one of these characters, the characters you can expect to see for sure are Ahsoka, Boba Fett, Timothy Olyphant's character, and Michael Bihn's bounty hunter. So Timothy Olyphant's likely going to be playing Cobb Vanth. Now when it comes to characters you might see, Captain Rex might be in there if Tamara Morrison does a double, and you might be seeing Ezra depending on the amount of joking that gentleman who was claiming to be Ezra and then said he was a fan casting himself for the role may or may not be. So I've heard rumblings about that. However, I would beg my money on placing a higher bet on Rex than I would on Ezra. Now Sabine is likely being portrayed by Sasha Banks, so I would also expect to see her as well. So what we're going to do is start with Sasha Banks, considering we saw her in the trailer. So let's take a look at Sabine first, and then we'll go into Ahsoka and then continue on from there. So sit back and enjoy, and let's get into it. Now, for those of you who are typically just involved in the live action side of Star Wars and you haven't been following any of the animated series, you didn't really find any interest in the Clone Wars or Rebels or the Resistance, Sabine is going to be in the show, and she is known for her appearances in Star Wars Rebels. So Sabine Ren was a Mandalorian warrior, explosive expert, and a graffiti artist. Graffiti artist, very important. During the one of the scenes, you can see a bunch of graffiti on the wall with the two Gamorreans wrestling, which likely is Tatooine. And so, not saying that that's where Sabine is going to be met with Mando, but just saying that that's in there. So qualities that came in handy as one of the first rebels against the Empire. Part of the Ghost Crew, Sabine used her gift for bomb making to great effect against the Empire and would often mark her work with spray paint tags. Again, what I say the Gamorrean aspect is. Her classic Mandalorian armor was notable for incorporating her own custom stylings, reflecting her creative meets rebellious spirit. And we know that Sabine at one point did wield the Darksaber. So this also gives her another entrance into The Mandalorian Season 2, where we know that Moff Gideon, who is an Imperial Moff, fiercely determined to capture a specific quarry. He's very clever, very formidable opponent, and he values power and knowledge. So what this tells us is that likely Moff Gideon is going to have some intertwining storyline with Sabine in the past. So Moff Gideon and Sabine, I expect there to be some type of backstory, either given to us by Sasha Banks or by Giancarlo Esposito. So I expect that backstory to be drawn further out because, like I say, Dave Filoni is very good at drawing all of these different mediums together and putting them in one good melding pot. And for those of you who are again still questioning what the Darksaber is, it's an ancient lightsaber that serves as a powerful symbol of leadership to the Mandalorians, which is what Mando is and which is what Sabine is. So the Darksaber is a unique weapon with the black energy blade lined with a crackling white edge. And this has been shown in animated series up until the end of The Mandalorian, and it was seen in the Clone Wars and Rebels, and it's got affiliations with the Jedi Order and Death Watch. So others who have wielded the Darksaber include Darth Maul, notably, as well as, Sabine, as I just mentioned, has also wielded the Darksaber. So we know that Ahsoka is going to be in The Mandalorian. Now I'm still seeing and fielding a bunch of comments from you guys asking, how do we know that this is true? Well, Rosario Dawson has been talked about as playing Ahsoka since 2017, and we finally have gotten from reliable outlets confirmation of Ahsoka going to be appearing in The Mandalorian. Now, Ahsoka was the Padawan learner to Anakin Skywalker and the hero of the Clone Wars. Alongside Anakin, she grew from headstrong student into a mature leader, but her destiny laid along a different path than the Jedi. And we have reports from Variety, so we have major outlets talking about how Rosario Dawson is going to be portraying Ahsoka in The Mandalorian Season 2. So Variety's article is titled, Rosario Dawson to play Ahsoka Tano in The Mandalorian Season 2. Another article from Forbes suggests the same thing. With Rosario Dawson as Ahsoka, the Dave Filoni of The Mandalorian is complete. And then we have another one from Entertainment Weekly, who are typically always first on the Star Wars game, but we're not this time, saying Rosario Dawson admits she's playing Ahsoka Tano in The Mandalorian Season 2. And another character that we know is going to be in the show is going to be Boba Fett. Boba Fett with his customized Mandalorian armor, deadly weaponry, and silent demeanor. Boba was one of the most feared bounty hunters in the galaxy, a genetic clone of his father. Boba bounty hunter Jango Fett, Boba learned combat and martial skills from a young age. Over the course of his career, which included contracts from the Empire as well as the criminal underworld, he became a legend. Now, I know some of you may be thinking that we saw him go into the Sarlacc pit in Return of the Jedi. We did, but even the Star Wars databank entry itself does not admit that Boba died. It says Han accidentally slammed a pole into the bounty hunter's jetpack. It ignited, sending Boba careening into the side of Jabba's sail barge and tumbling into the man-eating Sarlacc pit. Does not say that he died whatsoever. So, good news there. Boba still able to be around, and we know that Tamara Morrison is going to be returning to play him. He has already portrayed the clones in the prequels, and now we have some of the same outlets talking about how Boba Fett's going to be appearing in The Mandalorian Season 2. Again, from Variety, The Mandalorian, Tamara Morrison to appear as Boba Fett in Season 2. Another one from The Hollywood Reporter, exclusive, The Mandalorian's Tamara Morrison returns to Star Wars to play Boba Fett. Another one from Entertainment Weekly, The Mandalorian casts Tamara Morrison to return as Boba Fett. And we also have another one from MSN, The Wrap, The Mandalorian, Tamara Morrison to play Boba Fett in Season 2. So, Boba Fett going to be in there, Tamara Morrison's back. Another thing that we haven't gotten, complete confirmation on is Captain Rex, going to be played again by Tamara Morrison. So, Tamara Morrison going to have dual roles if that turns out to be true this season. Another one, Timothy Olyphant will be playing Cobb Vanth. So, he is a human male that lived around the time of the Battle of Endor. He was once a slave, but he rose to become a sheriff of Freetown on the planet of Tatooine after acquiring a set of Mandalorian armor from Jawas 4 years after the Battle of Yavin. So this makes sense given the fact that we know that Tatooine has already been visited in Season 1 of The Mandalorian. The following year, Vanth enlisted the services of Jabba's former animal trainer in raising a young Hutt named Borgo. Months later, Freetown was later attacked by the Red Key Raiders, but Cobb managed to enlist the Tusken Raiders' help in driving the criminals away. So that is a basic on Cobb Vanth. We have a report again from the Hollywood Reporter exclusive. Timothy Olyphant joins The Mandalorian. Timothy Olyphant was recently in a Star Wars series, multiple sources tell Heat Vision. It's an unknown whether the actor will play a new character or returning favorite in a new guise. The Mandalorian has finished shooting, and we can also expect Terminator star Michael Bain, who will also be involved in the new season, according to the Hollywood Reporter. Katan, who has made appearances in both Star Wars Rebels and Star Wars The Clone Wars, and is affiliated with Death Watch, located from Mandalore. So she wields a blaster pistol, but has also wielded the dark saber. She is a gifted warrior and a legendary Mandalorian. She refused to align with the Empire's occupation of Mandalore and has once wielded the dark saber as the leader of the Mandalorian resistance, but the dark saber unfortunately finds itself in the hands of Moff Gideon. Now, this was confirmed by several outlets, has other sources, so we know it is credible. We have this coming to us from IGN as well as Deadline. So we can take a look here. The Mandalorian, Katie Sackoff to play Bo-Katan in Season 2. This is from IGN, reported back in September. Another familiar face from Star Wars The Clone Wars will be making the jump to live action in the upcoming second season of The Mandalorian. Slash Film reported that Katie Sackoff will reprise the role of the Mandalorian warrior Bo-Katan in Season 2. Sackoff voiced Bo-Katan in The Clone Wars and the follow-up series Star Wars Rebels, but this will be her first time playing the character in live action. So this is actually pretty good, considering now we have one character making the transition between mediums, going from an animated medium to an on-screen medium. This is an exceptional idea because this allows the seamless transition between characters, fomenting from the medium of animation to the live action medium. So this is essentially the reverse of what they did when they originally started the Clone Wars, which is when they had to take Hayden Christensen's likeness from Revenge of the Sith and put it into an animated form. Now we're simply doing the reverse of that, where we're taking the animated version of Bo-Katan and simply from animated going and transitioning it to live action. So this is some pretty good news, considering Katie Sackoff is already very familiar with the character of Bo-Katan, and seeing that transition to live action I think will be fantastic. So another report came from Deadline, The Mandalorian Season 2, Katie Sackoff to play live action version of her Clone Wars character Bo-Katan, acknowledging that Katie Sackoff already played the character. Now keep in mind here that the interesting thing about this is that this article was originally posted on August 21st by IGN, whereas on Deadline it was reported in May. So you can see that now we have several months in between these reports corroborating of what they have said. So Deadline has now confirmed via Slash Film that Katie Sackoff, who voices Mandalorian warrior Bo-Katan on Star Wars The Clone Wars and Star Wars Rebels, they're also making note of the Rebels, will be playing the live action version of her character in Season 2 of Disney Plus's The Mandalorian. The character made her debut in Season 4 of The Clone Wars, which just had its series finale. The character has been instrumental in a lingering plotline involving the Darksaber in both the storylines of the Clone Wars and Rebels. So the reason I read that description is because this is very likely why Bo-Katan is involved in The Mandalorian Season 2. It makes perfect sense that Bo-Katan would be involved in helping Mando figure out more about the Darksaber and figuring out Moff Gideon, who he is, providing a little bit more of background information on that character, perhaps giving us some indication of what we can expect with the Force in Moff Gideon's connection to it, knowing that Bo-Katan had relations with Obi-Wan Kenobi in the sense that they worked together and likely was able to illuminate Mando on what is going on here, as well as some information perhaps on the child as well. So, second character that we're going to talk about today is Michael Bain. We don't know exactly what he's playing here, but this is confirmed by IGN. The Mandalorian Season 2 cast the Terminator star Michael Bain. So this was from March, so this actually broke very early on this year. Veteran actor Michael Bain has been cast in the second season of the Mandalorian Disney Plus series. The actor is best known for his turn as Kyle Reese in James Cameron's The Terminator. And this has also been second reported once again by The Hollywood Reporter. So The Mandalorian cast Terminator star Michael Bain. The Mandalorian is welcoming a sci-fi pioneer into its ranks. The Terminator and Alien star Michael Bain is joining the second season of Disney Plus Star Wars series, The Hollywood Reporter has confirmed. So this news was first reported by MSW, where they reported Bain's highest profile project in more than a decade. His character details are still unknown, though it is said that he is also going to be playing some type of bounty hunter, along the lines of Tamara Morrison and Timothy Olyphant. Now, one more thing I want to touch on is, since we don't know much about his character, I'd like to talk about one other character that we might be able to expect in this Season 2 as well. And that character is Captain Rex. Now, some of you may be wondering, what is Captain Rex going to be doing in here? Given his condition in the Clone Wars, wouldn't it be reasonable to assume that Captain Rex is already ridiculously advanced in age, given the fact that this is already set 6 years after Return of the Jedi ended, and given the fact that in Rebels, Rex had already aged dramatically? So yes, this would be a simple assumption. However, it's been reported several times that Captain Rex is rumored to be back as well, given the fact that Tamara Morrison not only would be playing Boba Fett, but would also be playing Rex, given the sense that they are essentially the same person. So this is actually quite interesting. It seems that Captain Rex could essentially be in there, and what this would have been able to do is provide a gateway for Dave Filoni to, in a sense, slow the aging process of Captain Rex. So essentially at this point, The Mandalorian, again, takes place 6 years after Return of the Jedi. This has given a wide window of time for the explain away availability provided to Dave Filoni and Jon Favreau, saying that if they wanted to include this character, given the fact that he's very palled up with Ahsoka, especially in the last 4 episodes of the Clone Wars. And remember, as you know, I say Dave Filoni is not simply one to just tie things together on a whim. He thinks these things out very thematically and with very much detail in place. So this would make sense to me that they would explain away Rex's aging and figure out a way to get hit to slow to the point where he would be in Rebels. So if he does appear, and that is an if, it's not a confirmation, it's just something that I've been hearing, I would suggest to you that that is how that could happen. Is that they had figured something out during the dark times to figure out a way to slow Rex's aging. So that is the update I have for you guys on The Mandalorian Season 2 with these more confirmed characters. Thank you guys for watching this video. May God bless you and the Force be with you always. If you enjoyed this episode, and frankly, even if you didn't, don't forget to subscribe.
Do it!
And if you want to help spread the word, please give this video a thumbs up and tell your friends to subscribe. Please check out the official Star Wars Coffee merchandise, and don't forget to check out all of the content playlists on this channel, including The Rise of Skywalker, The Mandalorian, and much more.